video to help. Greetings! Een Laq, a la. I am another you. You are another me. We are one consciousness that I like to call God-sciousness, because it is. So, why Mayan embodiment? Why indeed? Well, why Mayan anything, first of all? Maybe you don't really know about the Mayan calendar. This is the Mayan calendar. Of a sort. Not this thing in the middle. That's the Hunabku. And so is this. Ooh, inside a 13-petaled lotus flower. Cuckoo. Where was I? Yeah, so the Mayan calendar consists of 2 cycles, 20 and 13. They don't go opposite directions. I just did that for fun. Everybody, on the day you are born, you have one of these glyphs and one of these tones. They're called tones because it's not really a quantity. It's not like 2 cats and 3 dogs. It's like da 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 da. Yeah, there are 13 tones in an octave, by the way, if you include high C, and I do. Now, you are one of these and one of the tones. Like this, for example. Ooh, I am tone 7 of the eagle. Ooh. Okay, and as you can see, I incorporated the left eye of Horus and some Japanese cloudy things in there too. Because that's what we're doing here, my friends. This is integration time. All spirituality is human spirituality. Dig? This is the other way to see the 20 and 13. It makes 260. This day here is 260. And this day here is day number 1. And you go day 20, day 21, day 40, etc., etc. So this calendar was created, we're not quite sure because the records were lost, but probably over 3,000 years ago. And the long count is many of these. That was 5,125 years. And it finished its cycle on winter solstice 2012, and then the next day started the next cycle. It's actually marking the precession of the equinoxes, which is a 26,000 year cycle, and the end of the previous long count ushered in the age of Aquarius. Yay! Finally! Pisces is like, goodbye! I love you, Jesus. Yeshua. His name is Yeshua. Sorry. Now, you are one of these days. Cool? Cool. Now, do you notice the other pattern here? Doesn't that look interesting? What the heck is that? Here's another way to see that. Well, it's the same thing. But if you put a whole bunch of them together, look at this. It's DNA. Why is 13 and 20 interwoven DNA? Well, every human, barring anomaly or accident, has 20 fingers and toes. And every human, same thing, has 13 joints of movement. 20 for measure, 13 for movement. What? 13 what? 1, 2, 3, Shoulder is a joint of movement. 4, 5, 6. And then hip, knee, ankle. Oh, as above, so below. And the neck is the 7th, or the mirrored column. May I remind you that the 7th column is the mirrored column. And it's open, and energy flows into you and flows out of you. So does your food down this tube. Like, I don't know if that's related at all, but anyway, I think it is related. So, that's the Mayan calendar. Cool? Cool. Now, what is Mayan embodiment? First of all, I have been learning and studying and teaching about the Mayan calendar. This is my favorite video in the world. Since 1998. When, interestingly enough, I was taught a fake one called the dream spell. And 3 days later I went and got my dream spell tattoo because I thought it was so cool. And about 9 months later, crack, my dream was shattered. More on that later. Now, these are some of the other Mayan books I've read, and yeah, you can take a look at those later. I'm not going to talk about their titles. And here's some more that I've read in this Kindly thing. I love it. It's so great, especially for screenshots and highlighting. Let's see, 98 to 22, 24 years I've been studying, teaching, learning this stuff. And the way that I learned it was just basically, you're one of these and one of these. And there's some other doohickeys with the dream spell thing that's quite trippy. And then when I learned that it was fake, I kept using one website in particular, mayan.embodiment.astrology, lovely site. And that's what I taught people with mainly for many years, including some of what else I learned in other wonderful books. And then, I don't know, not that long ago, like 5 years ago, I learned about the system taught primarily by a man called Don Alejandro Cirillo Perez Oxlash. And he is also called Wandering Wolf, the man in this video. And he taught that the day that you're born, you are that glyph in that tone, but you also have 4 guides or helpers in your life. And the way that it's taught is often using the grid form of the Tzolk'in. This is called the Tzolk'in, by the way. And this is called the Hunab. Ooh, you have to drop a little in there. It's so cool. And so the way that it's often taught is to picture your birthday on here and to go up 8 steps or 9, yeah, and then down 8 or 9, and then it's a little bit confusing, and I studied it for years and I never really got it, to tell you the truth. And then one day I was doing a meditation about it, a guided meditation, written by Mr. Ken Johnson, possibly the most famous writer in the English world on the use of the calendar, Mayan astrology. Similar to Carlos Berrios, but he also teaches the same system. And it's called the Mayan Tree of Life, or Mayan Destiny Path. And there's also a good website called Mayan Cross. And the way they picture it is you in the center, and then your 4 helpers are like that. And I tried for years, and I used it, and I taught some people it. But then I was doing that meditation, and in my meditation, I got zapped with this download of me. There's my 7 men. I have the power of 7 men. That's weird because normally you would say ook men. Because those are both the Yucatan pronunciation of 7 eagle. So I have the power of 7 eagle. Doesn't quite sound as cool as 7 men, but whatever. Both are true. And as you can see, I literally felt my right hand being gripped by what I now call my divine masculine guide, and my left hand was open, and the hand of my divine feminine guide was gently placed in it. And I was looking up at my future vision guide, and therefore my thoughts were going to my past wisdom guide. This download happened to me in 1 second, and I felt it, and then it was gone. And I was kind of freaked out about it, actually. It was totally different from all the other systems that are being taught. And so I reached out. I wrote Ken Johnson, and I wrote Birgit Racine, and I told them what happened, and I think I drew a pretty bad version of it, not fancy like this, and I said to them, hey, and I also wrote Barbara Hand Clow and Karl Johan Kaleman, and I asked the 4 of them, and a few other people too, about it. And I didn't get too many responses. Actually, no, 2 or 3 people didn't really respond at all. But I will say this. Dr. Kalaman responded many times, and Barbara Hand Clow did too. And so I kept in contact with them, kept sending them sort of new versions as I went along with it. And then I decided, okay, well, this is real, and I'm going to make some videos. And one of the things that really inspired me was the fact that we know about this DNA connection, and I knew that in 1998. Jose Arguelles did teach that in the Dream Spell system, and I do believe it to be true. It's basically undeniable. Your body is a matrix of 13 and 20, and this is a matrix of 13 and 20. Wow. Which is one of the reasons you know the dream spell is fake. Because the dream spell takes this and it says, okay, every 4 years, nothing happens on this day. It's not a real day, everybody. Okay? And then, yeah, so each one of every 4 years, you just take that out and it's not real, okay? So, come on, guys. Seriously? How can you cut out a day out of time? You can't. That would be like me making a website called The Law of Gravity. And I would say, one day every 4 years, there's no gravity, everybody. Yeah. And you make up cool words and you do some graphics and you just say that. And people are all like, well, I really, okay, sure. Anyway, moving right along. DNA is in every cell of our body. Once I had this vision, I realized that we are inside the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar is DNA. It is a matrix that harmonizes time and space, your body being space taker upper. And your mind is in here, and not just in here, it's also in other places, and your soul is the same. And Mayan embodiment is a quantum holographic approach to time. That's so crazy. Anyway, I started making some videos, and I made one for Barbara Handclough, and actually I sent it to her, and this was maybe like my 13th, let's just say it was 13th or 20th email exchange I had with her, and she had been polite before, and you know, not really getting into it, because she was writing her third book of her trilogy, which I have over here, and here's her response after watching my video that I made about her. Hi Crispy, in this video I encounter you for the first time beyond a person who has emailed me on occasion. I find you to be very insightful, intuitive, psychically connected, honest, and sincere. Thank you, Barbara. And there was a bunch of things that were unrelated to the rest of this video that I'm making now. Now that I have seen your work, I understand your way of approaching me, since I can see this transmission had to come through you. Well, it did come through me. I didn't really ask for anything special to happen, and just beep. Yeah. And some other parts that I will not display publicly. Or privately, by the way. Regardless of anything, you have produced a masterpiece of a summary of my 40-plus years of public work, semicolon. I am stunned by your dedication. Wow, my blessings, Barbara. The other thing you need to know is that the Maya themselves have said that they believe the Dzogchen came to them from the Pleiadian star system. And I can't remember if I learned that back in '98. Basically, after I realized the dream spell was a hoax, I kind of lost interest in all that airy-fairy stuff, and I just focused on the basics of day and tone, glyph and tone, and I used that for many years. Then recently, when I got back into it after that download and I realized the Pleiadian stuff is real, I went back into everything I could find Pleiadian, and this is my 4th of her 5 books that I have read. And I realized what's going on here, my friends. This is the Starseed Lightworker and Wayshower calendar. It did not originate on planet Earth. Neither did you! You dig? From studying almost every known English version of Mayan calendar astrology, I assimilated and combined and created the Mayan embodiment system. That's what I call it. Embodiment, get it? And also from my studies, where can I pull that one out for you? Men, in his first book, published by Barbara Hand Clow, mentioned that the Maya knew about the word chakras and Kundalini. They had that word in their vocabulary, but how they used it was not known. I did a one-day workshop with Men, and he did not tell us about the chakras. So I thought to myself, well, they need to be included. And this was the next vision that I was given. This is a 13-day period. This is every 13-day period. These two go together. Tone 1 and tone 7 and tone 13. It is so simple, and it is a very useful, helpful way to bring more light into your life. And another way that I do that, when I do your Mayan embodiment astrology, I will tell you what your shadow work and ego dramas are for each position. Of course, you have them for your birth sign, and there's possible ones, shadow. The shadow issues, by the way, are the tone. The tones are like your bones. It's like the pyramid. It's like your skeleton. Did I say that? Your glyph is like your flesh. It's like your personality. Okay? So each of the tones has shadow work to be done. Possibly, unless you're living in the light already, in which case you don't really need to focus on the shadow work. Each of the glyphs similarly has ego dramas, because we all got them, baby. Everybody's got one. EGO. What did I hear the other day? Raymond Tarpe. Edge God out. EGO. Ego. Let's be honest, we all got them. And we all have shadow dramas. And what I do for you when I do your reading, before I even get started, you have to give to me 3 adjectives at least, or a couple of paragraphs, anything. And that jumpstarts my intuition to tell you what you need to know. Now, I will give you approximately a 10-page document explaining every one of your guide positions and your core self positions and a whole lot more. It also comes with a 52-page work booklet that has the calendar itself. Where my calendar? The calendar itself, yes, which you can print out. I suggest only printing out the calendar. It's 52 pages of eye candy, basically, so don't print the whole thing unless you have an unlimited ink budget. So, 52-page workbook that includes every single keyword for every glyph and tone, and it tells you how to do combinations for people and tells you so many other things too. That work booklet, the calendar work booklet, is 777 Canadian pennies if you want just that. Okay? If you already know your glyph and tone and you feel cool with that, and you're ready to jump in and you can negotiate it, navigate it, all on your own, then just buy that from me. It's a PDF. Boom! Easy peasy. If you're Canadian, you can do a bank transfer, e-transfer, easy peasy. And if you're a non-Canadian human, you can use PayPal. If I do a personal reading for you, it is 3,333 Canadian pennies. And if I do a combined reading for you and any other person, it is 77.77, because that takes me nearly 5 hours to do, because I have to do 3 complete readings, which takes me about 2.5, 3 sometimes hours to do, depending on the intuition, if it's really flowing. There's a lot of interconnections to be made from doing a combined reading, which is why the combined reading always comes with a Zoom or Facebook Messenger face-to-face video. It's too much to just give you the document and say, okay, bye, good luck. It's too much. And with the single reading I do for you, you could probably get through it just with receiving the document, but I always include a video face-to-face meeting with you if you want it. And what I do recommend is that you do take me up on that, specifically with regard to the shadow work or any questions you have at all. Now, back to the star seed. Isn't it cool that in the Mayan calendar there is already the seed and the star? I call both of those star seeds. It does get a little confusing, so I use a hyphen to figure it out. We are at the age in our life where we wake up to who we truly are. A lot of things that helped me that had nothing to do with the Maya are some of these books. Just go for a quick scan here. You can slow them down and read it on your own if you really want to. All right, there we go. And these books. And these books I've been reading online since a couple of years ago, when I had a lot more time at home to read. And what I can tell you is that we are on the precipice. We are spreading our wings. And we are, to borrow a term that I learned from this book, we are holy holograms of God-sciousness. That's the crispy remix. We are divine fractals of God-sciousness. We could not exist unless we were God in a human body. It's not possible. The way that God made it possible is DNA. For spirit to actually go into matter, like clay and minerals, stone and water and fire. We have earth, air, water, and fire in us. We are Goddess Gaia, every element of her, and we are the sun, our mitochondria, and our sharp, sparky, firing mind. We are gods and goddesses embodied temporarily. And it is so awesome. And where's my cute little diagram? Woo! I was given this to give to you, to help you shine more light into your life. And these two will do it. So, what are you waiting for? I would be so honored to help you shine more light into your life. I take every client so seriously and dear to me. Because I truly believe, Een Laq, I am another you, you are another me, we are one God-sciousness.